Hello, hi Dell. Thanks a lot for being interviewed by my blog, ideasresolution.com. And please, I was going to, we were chatting along, and you guys have worked on so many game-changing problems, like redefining problems. Can you share with us some of those, please?
Yeah, I'll list a few things. One of them that's been very exciting in the last year or two, we've been working with EA Sports in Vancouver, and we've been helping them redefine some of the interface problems, making those spatial navigation, rebranding, and kind of simplifying and making a common system for all the interfaces that they use. But a very interesting thing
in terms of a gaming, like you mean they're cross games, sharing the same?
It's at least the things that are common to set up and things like outside before you enter a game, but it's also a lot of the stats and a lot of things that you get inside the game.
Oh, okay, right.
Certainly the game producers will produce their own. They have their own unique kind of systems for interface, but there are certain common things throughout. Accessing stats, moving around within the system on sort of a top level. Those are now becoming standardized.
Right. Sometimes those are the most frustrating situations.
And with some of the things we're doing the same thing, it isn't really a good thing if you have to learn a new one. But I mean, some of those common things, keep those consistent, which is great for the brand of EA, EA Sports. Another really interesting thing on that same vein we're working on, which you can see in some of the NBA 07, NBA Live 07, is the integration of media inside the game space and then the pre-game space.
What do you mean by media? Like actual video clips of games?
Streaming video and video clips. You can get, certainly, I think you can get audio, like the ESPN radio. You can get audio that you can run in there and tickers of information. So it's bringing some of that data, information, and video from ESPN inside the game space.
Oh, okay. So it's actually got an internet connection, and you're pulling those information live.
And that's playing off the new boxes. Xbox 360, PS3, those are connected boxes.
Okay, so in a sense, it would be those information or stats or clips will be put into frames, like a square blank frames, and then those clips will be played in those areas, like the stats out of software.
There's a way there's an interface to access those, and how you sort of use those. We've been exploring that with EA. Now, another exercise around games that we did, which is sort of game moving with television, which is very interesting, that we did several years ago, and that's with Vivendi Universal and NBC. We worked with Sci-Fi Channel on Battlestar Galactica, and that was
I'm a huge fan of the show.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's a really good show. And when the miniseries came out, we worked with the developers of the miniseries. As they were developing and finishing the miniseries before it was aired, we were working with a group from Sci-Fi Channel and a group from VU Games, who was building the game, the Battlestar Galactica game, and we developed a concept for a way that you, on the Xbox 360, you could watch through the Xbox 360, watch the miniseries, but at a couple points, because it's also a game box. For example, there were two places in the miniseries where there was a major out in space fight scene. So what you could actually do was, it was opt-in, but if you chose to, you would press a button, and the video, I mean the movie, the miniseries would push back in the screen, and you're now participating. You're inside the game space with a game on rails that with synced events to what's going on in the show. You're not changing the storyline of the show.
Well, of course, yeah.
And at the end,
but you get to fight.
You get to fight
in the show.
But it's quite breathtaking to all of a sudden be you just jumped into the experience there from another point of view. And you actually see on the screen. You might see the other ship that's out there.
Right.
And I think
people were actually watching the TV show on Xbox Live, and then at some point they can actually pause it or go into the mode. Is that what
it was while it was going on?
While it's going on.
There would be a graphical thing on the screen. This was a prototype, so we didn't actually. This was not executed, but it certainly could be. The ideas were all built out. So, but if you saw the possibility, a little marker would come up. You press select, then you go in.
Right.
At that moment, and the event and that fight scene that took us back out of again was the Galactica gets hit, and that's part of the storyline. So that all of a sudden there's this explosion takes you back. You're back into the scene, and then you even go into other interactive experiences. There's a lot of interactive things you could do with that. You could also you could bring up a 3D model of the ship because the scenes that were after that were dealing with the ship is hit, it's on fire.
Right. So you can look at it in detail.
Yeah, so you could actually look at the model of the ship and move it around while this dialogue is going on, and you can understand it a little bit better. We call that sense of place. You really understand the place and what's going on.
Right.
And maybe the drama is even better from that. You understood it better.
Yeah, and I heard that you also worked on a feature-length movie, right? Was it Miami Vice?
Miami Vice. We worked on that. Was on the HD DVD version. We worked with Universal on the HD DVD version of that of the movie Miami Vice. Michael Mann was the director, and there's some really interesting features in there where you were able to using the new great new technology that's available on that box. You could press a button. Again, you opt into this. So you're not forced to do this, but if you want to.
So this is while you're watching the movie.
Yeah, while you're watching a movie, you could press back and get storyboard frames that were created for that scene. You could get, but while it's moving along, you don't have to stop the movie. You could actually just keep moving along, see the distinct things that are going on that are available then. You could bring up GPS data with maps that's showing you the locations of things that are going on. They took a boat trip from Miami to Havana. You could actually see the lay of that, or countries in South America.
So something playing on the side, or just the GPS location of that trip that's being displayed?
Yeah, it's simultaneous, meaning if you say, tell me this information, a little graphic, you press it, the screen pushes back, revealing a little small window of some other things, so it's coming on the same time. But you haven't had to stop the video; it just keeps going. Everything keeps moving, so it's a very dynamic kind of experience.
And part of it was also involving the director, right? Was he that you mentioned something like
Yes,
can you tell us a little bit?
We did get to meet with Michael Mann a few times and look at how his vision for that. For a lot of the enhancements in that were to really understand the film process, the filmmaking process. So there were a lot of storyboards accessible. There were a lot of other commentary where you'd actually see him there talking.
Okay. So you actually see him at the same time as the movie being played.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of pulling those elements together.
Right. It's not just like the old DVD where you hear him on the track. This one you actually see him, and then he can put whatever clip that he wants on the side at the same time.
So it's like an enhanced movie in a sense. It's less about stopping and going away to a totally separate experience. Bring those experiences together, the enhanced experience together. Or
unified in one. Thing. Right. I love the user experience work that you have shown us today, and I'm going to for sure look up the work that you guys are doing. Thanks a lot, Dal.
Sure.